One thing that we pride ourselves on at Washington Court is that we will attempt to work with every single person to address the issues that have led to them becoming homeless. So whether that's mental health concerns or substance misuse, we have a good success rate for people moving on. Sometimes still with those issues going on, but being able to manage them on their own or with support. We're now a universal credit postcode, so all of our residents have to make a claim for universal credit. With some people it's not an issue. They've got a bank account that they can get that paid into and the claim can be processed in a couple of days. For people who are using simple payment or post office accounts, universal credit just isn't being paid into those. They're not an option for people anymore. So we're then looking to support people to set up their own bank account to make their universal credit claim. The issue that we're getting is a lot of people who haven't got their own bank account also haven't got the ID to open a bank account. They're saying they'll accept a licence agreement from here and a letter from the DWP, but the DWP is saying they can't issue a letter about their entitlement to benefit until they give them the bank details. People can't afford to get the driving licence or passport sorted out until their benefits are in payment, and there's just this vicious cycle that people are going through where without the bank account they can't open the DWP claim. Without the DWP claim they can't pay for the ID to open up a bank account.
Is there any practical things that the government should be doing which aren't doing at the moment? Is there anything that we could put forward?
I think there's a couple of things that could potentially work. One of the things I've been thinking about is bringing back simple payment cards but on a time restriction. So you can use your simple payment for the first 2-3 months of your claim to get your benefit in payment. In that time you can use your benefit then to purchase your ID and open up a bank account, and then as soon as you've got your bank account then you can transfer your universal credit into your bank account.
Mine was a mental health breakdown to start off with. There was a bit of homelessness before that. Some stuff happened previous in my life where my family kind of got split apart, and then that kind of left us all wandering across the country, and we've all just kind of segregated and moved to different towns, and I ended up in Birmingham just because I just walked down the road and then seen where I got. 2 days later I was here. And I decided to stay. I don't know, something just here about Birmingham struck me to be nice.
And were you ill when you got here, do you think?
I'm not quite sure when I felt ill. Because of I started falling ill, I developed a drug habit because people were taking advantage of me. I was sat down on the street, and I may have been, as you call it, begging, but I was just sat there, and other people were walking across to me, bad people, taking my money off me and dropping me a bag of drugs. And then that kept me on a cycle, and I didn't realise that I was trapping myself down there. I thought it had only been about a couple of weeks, but it actually turned out to be a year.
Wow. What do you think it is that, as a city, we could do better to help people?
Well, I think identifying the cause before the homelessness. Look at the main reasons of why people are becoming homeless, obviously mental health, addictions, but there's only a limited number of beds for people that are mentally ill, and a lot of people get left waiting. And it's just with addictions as well, it takes so long for someone to be able to get the medication they need for the drug, whatever they're on, and then by the time it starts kicking in, they just thought, why am I still? I've been doing, I don't know, I've been doing a drug for 2 weeks. I tried getting help 2 weeks ago. I'm still on this drug. What's the point in trying to go get more help? People look at you like you're scum basically when you're homeless, and it's what you don't realise is the main fact is even you've got a stable house, you've probably got a mortgage. You could be made redundant because your company could go under, and then next month you can't pay your mortgage because you've got no money. Then the next month you're out on the street yourself.
When you were at school, did you have particular hopes and aspirations for the future?
I wanted to be a cook.
Yeah.
And I've got a level 3 in hospital catering, 2 science qualifications, which instead of doing them in 4 years, I've done them in 2. I'm actually quite smart. I'm almost a genius. I hate saying that.
There are individual factors and there are systemic issues that drive homelessness, and I think sometimes we all look for simple answers, don't we? We all kind of look, and particularly when we see the very visible form of homelessness which is on our streets, and then we tend to think, oh, it's all about the individual, homeless. Sometimes that less bit gets attached to the person, less person, homeless person, rather than actually the whole situation. The key is in the word home. So what is a home about? What does it take to make sure that people have homes which are there to underpin the rest of their lives? Not something that you worry about whether you have a home or not, but actually something that we should all be able to take for granted, so we can work, so we can have social lives, so that we can be part of communities. That's the issue for me, that we think about how do we ensure everyone has a home.